Okay, so yeah, I'm going to talk about the Technoscience Thursdays webinars. And this is a project supported by the Science Transfer Program of the Great Lakes Fishery Commission. And I'm going to provide a quick retrospective of some past webinars and then announce some new content coming up. So if you're not already familiar with the Science Transfer Program, the goal of the program is to identify fishery management needs and then make information more accessible for decision making to meet those needs. And the program really emphasizes two-way exchange of knowledge rather than just a one-way push of information out. And we encourage this two-way exchange by bringing knowledge producers and knowledge users together to co-produce products such as workshops, decision support, and data visualization tools, and fact sheets, infographics, and things like that. If you want to check out some of the past products of the program, they're all available on the GLC website on the Science Transfer Toolkit, which you can access at that link. I'll wait a minute for everyone to scan that QR code. Okay. So back to Technoscience. What does that mean? So our definition comes from a paper published in 2022 by Steve Cook and others, and they define Technoscience as a dynamic triad among technology, science, and society. And so there's a lot of barriers to technology getting the uptake of technology into practice, and those barriers are often social or institutional, not necessarily technical or scientific. And so one of the barriers identified in this paper is just the sheer number of technologies out there and new technologies and the sheer number of applications of that technology, a lot of which we're going to hear about later today in the comment session. And then the rapid pace of development of new technology. It's just really hard for folks to keep up with the new technology, particularly busy fishery managers. And so what the webinar series seeks to do is to help break down that barrier by providing rapid and accessible summaries of emerging technologies in the context of fisheries science and fisheries management. And then in addition to providing information, going back to that two-way exchange, we hope to sort of build a community of practice of folks who are interested in thinking and talking about this stuff. And so to that end, last year between January and July, we held 6 webinars. The topics included drones and autonomous underwater vehicles, real-time observing systems, practical tools for eDNA interpretation, acoustic telemetry analysis tools, live sonar technology and implications for fisheries management, and a project that combined indigenous knowledge with artificial intelligence to count salmon returns in the Pacific Northwest. And so overall, we felt like the webinars were pretty successful. We had an average of 86 attendees, and the feedback we got from folks was largely positive, that they were useful and interesting. And so if you missed any of the webinars, there's a playlist on the Fishery Commission's YouTube channel that you can watch the recordings of all the past webinars, and that's accessible at that link as well. So one area for improvement that we identified from the previous webinars was diversifying the audience. So this chart comes from a survey we conducted of attendees at the first 3 webinars last year. And as you can see, the audience was mostly fishery biologists and researchers. There was relatively fewer folks who identified as fishery managers or policymakers. And what we're really hoping to reach that decision-making audience with our webinars. So going forward, we want to provide more opportunities for managers and policymakers to attend webinars and also to present on webinars and sort of encourage that two-way dialogue. For example, the most popular webinar we hosted last year was on live sonar, and we featured a panel with scientists, managers, and tournament organizers, all talking about the implications of that technology. And so going forward, we want to have more opportunities like that. So finally, we're going to be hosting some new webinars starting sometime late fall this year, running through early 2027. The webinars will continue to be on Thursdays at 2 p.m. The dates have not been announced yet, so to make sure you don't miss out, you can sign up for the email listserv at that link there. I promise not to spam anybody too much. Just a few emails just announcing when the new webinars are coming out. And there's also some flyers at the table on the webinar series that has the link there if you miss out now. So the dates are TBD. The topics are also TBD. Some of the things that have emerged come to the top that folks are interested in include omics, so genomics, proteomics, and those applications to fisheries management. Big data, and sort of how you wrangle big data and how it can be used to answer questions, and angler apps. But ultimately, the webinars are for all of you. And so we want to know what conversations you want to have about technoscience. What is the technology that you want to learn about? What questions do you have? What information do you need? So please don't hesitate to come chat with me or send me an email and let me know if there's anything that you're particularly interested in. And certainly if you want to be a speaker at a webinar, also let me know. That would be awesome. So that's all I have. I don't know if there's time for questions, but thank you.